Well, today on techgooch, we're taking a peek at a monitor. So recently, I've decided to upgrade my desk situation. I have a 27-inch iMac, 5K iMac with the 27-inch 4K monitor next to it. It's worked great for as long as I've been using it, and we're kind of changing things up so it's a better option to work from home. So I'll have two full monitors and selling my iMac and things like that, and going mainly with my laptop or my work laptop so I can switch in between. And so what I decided to do is try out a couple 32-inch monitors. This was my first attempt, because first I kind of really wanted to have a curved, wrapped around experience. This is a 4K monitor from Samsung. This is the UR59 or 590CWW, I think is what it actually is. The black version, they do offer a white silver version as well. And I was really hopeful for this because at the price point it's at, it's really nice. I think $329 is what you can kind of find these for. You can also get them used for a little bit less than that in the 200s. So at the price point, it's like, well, I could do two 32-inch monitors for a very good price if I can make this work. So I got this just a few days ago, and well, we're going to get into it in what I like, but what I really don't like about the Samsung 32R59. So let's get into it. So I have the box for this thing right back here, and it came well packaged. You know, lots of styrofoam, the curved styrofoam, and obviously it came in really good condition, and I was really excited about it. The things I want to talk about first is before we turn it on. So the scope of how much curvature this screen has, I think is about right in all reality for the size it is. I really wanted that a little bit more immersive feel from the monitor, and I was really expecting that right out of the gate, right when I saw how much curvature it had. The stand also, I really like. So I'm gonna flip it around here. So the stand kind of clips on here, and I actually have the cable there still. Kind of forks in, and then there's two screws, one on each side here that you attach to the monitor, and that's this piece. And then the legs have a single screw that attaches to the bottom of this. It's a metal stand. It does have, if you actually slide this up, cable tray that actually is covered really easily, so you can easily put the cables in. There is a cover that I never got out that actually covers this up, so you literally won't see any cables in the back once you get this thing fully set up. Down here there is a HDMI input, there is a full DisplayPort input, there is a headphone jack for speakers or headphones because this monitor does not have built-in speakers, and then there's the power input. And this is number one thing that when I got it out of the box that I hated the most is the power cable, because you have this stupid gigantic wall wart. I hate these. They make, you know, I have a UPS under my desk, and this just makes using the UPS that much worse. And so then you put on a power strip or something off the UPS. It just takes up so much space. I don't know why monitors do this. I mean, obviously they're trying to make them as thin and streamlined as possible. Get rid of this stupid thing and put in you know, you could do a standard plug with this in between the plug cord and then the monitor cord, and it wouldn't be nearly as bad as this dumb wall wart. And that was number one. When I first saw this, I was like, oh, come on. If I'm gonna do two of these, this is gonna drive me insane. I hate this. But I can live to work with it, right? I can live with it. In the end, that's what I decided. So I'm going to keep going. And so, yeah, that is the number one thing I hated about it once coming out of the box. Everything else I really liked about it, including the small joystick that's down here. Let me pull it over this way. The joystick to actually control it is one of those nice Samsung joysticks, the same similar thing that they use on their TVs and stuff. All of that was great. However, once I turned it on and plugged it into my computer, I immediately really disliked this monitor. And I'm hoping that this video is going to showcase what I really didn't like. And it didn't matter what setting I changed, but we're going to go into that. So I'm going to get this thing powered up, plug it into my MacBook, and then we're going to compare the two. So here we go. So I figured I'd start with the background that I was seeing on my iMac, comparing the two. And sitting my 27-inch iMac and this 32-inch monitor next to it, these colors are very different because you don't see near as much detail in this kind of flower petal type orange display or orange background between the iMac and the 32-inch. Now, of course, this is a 16-inch to put it over here on my table, but you can see that the colors way deeper down here than they are on the 32-inch, and as they flow out, you can actually see more detail in the actual petal on my 16-inch MacBook versus this 32-inch. Now, also when I'm looking at the top bar, how clearly defined is the lettering on that top bar? If I come over to here, it is not. It actually is a lot grainier. Now, of course, it is a much larger display. And of course, I'm comparing it to 16-inch to a 32-inch. I understand that. But I actually was comparing this 27-inch to 32-inch on my own display, on my iMac. And it is noticeably different when you're looking at them side by side. It is kind of crazy. So it's hard to me to justify and throw it on here, but I'm just saying that it is noticeable, the difference between it. And this is 100% brightness, and right now my MacBook is not. I could make this a lot brighter, and that was the biggest difference. I had to get my iMac down to about 30% brightness to have it match the brightness of this screen. If I went anything over 30%, it was so much brighter than this 32-inch display, and that is the biggest letdown, is the brightness factor on this. Now, also when I'm doing video editing and things do not look accurate on the screen. It just doesn't. I can't tell you, I wanted to love this monitor so much. I was so hoping to do it because I was going to order a second one. And this thing is getting sent back. Now, of course, in my MacBook, I did want to bring up that I can increase or decrease the resolution, or I should say the text size, kind of what this external display is going to be used as. And so in the middle here is about right. When you get down to more space, it just gets so tiny, the text does, versus larger text, easier to see. But I like to kind of keep it in the center, depending on what I want to put it at. But if I really wanted to put it at more space, that's the true resolution. Still, it's not clean even at that resolution. So I'm just showing a couple backgrounds. So this is actually running Windows on my iMac right now, and just showing some differences. I'm doing some Windows updates, but while I'm doing that, I figured I'd show some backgrounds. So these, I've mirrored the displays, so they're the exact same display, and you can see real quick that the contrast on the iMac monitor is way better than the contrast on the Samsung 32-inch monitor. Again, contrast. It all comes down to contrast. And of course, I can mess with the settings like I said before. I can come in here, go to my settings, and right now I'm still in custom. And I can, cinema, I think actually brings out a lot more detail, but then I lose the white colors. The white colors just go to heck. And you can see the difference between the two. Right now I don't have the brightness of my iMac busted up real crazy, but the contrast levels are drastically different. So here I'm running the exact same web page on the two monitors, just like I did with my 16-inch MacBook. But this time we have the 27-inch iMac, also reduced down in brightness versus the absolutely all the way at brightness 32-inch UR59. If I go into the settings here again, let's change the settings out of cinema, dynamic, but let's go to my custom setting, which is as close as I've been able to get it. But even then, you can see the drastic difference in how bright the two are. And to be honest, how white the two pages are together. There's a lot more shadowing around the corners with the UR59, and the clarity. Yeah, the colors are one thing, but the clarity. But if you really want to look, if you really want to stare at here, the colors of the Google logo. Now, of course, I'm not going to be putting it side by side here, but that's the colors, and that's what you would expect to see from the Google logo. But if I come over to this guy, it's much more muted, is maybe the best way to say it. And especially if you zoom back out and you compare the two, the colors pop a lot more on the iMac display than they do on the UR59. Now, I wanted to reiterate, I was really hoping to love this monitor. And I can't say I had huge expectations for it, but I had expectations based on what I currently own. And I have, like I said, the 27-inch iMac. It is a 5K display, of course, on that, but I do have a 27-inch Dell 4K P-series monitor from 4 or 5 years ago, and I think I bought that in 2018. Love the monitor, but I'm looking to change the whole setup to 232-inch. And this is what I came to, and I realized real quick, it's not going to be what I want. Now, of course, this is not an IPS screen. This is a VA monitor, so not nearly as bad as a TN monitor, but I've noticed also when I stand up, it's not as clean as my 4K Dell IPS monitor. Depending on where you're putting this and how you're doing it, if you're putting it in a very dark environment, it's not a bad monitor. It doesn't have, it's only a 60 hertz monitor. So gaming, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be great for gaming at all. But I'm more looking at it for day-to-day document use, but also video editing use. And the big thing for documents, I'm thinking it's going to be fine. Actually, the yellowish hue, almost that warm color, is probably going to be easier on the eyes. So that's going to be one big thing. However, and this is where it really fell apart, was when I was doing my video editing. The colors just didn't look right on it, and look at that, went to sleep. If the colors aren't going to look right, well, then there's no point in even trying it, because if I can't accurately portray the colors and everything, it loses all my interest. I am actually changing out this, and I was really hoping to have curved this time. I'm going to have to go back flat, because I cannot find a curved 32-inch monitor without getting to the $1,000 plus range that's going to have the colors and clarity that I'm looking for in a monitor. And with my vision the way it is, my wife probably wouldn't notice a whole lot of difference, but I am extremely picky on color, and I still have very, very precise vision. I'm sure that's going to change the older I get. However, I'm still there, so I pick out the little things that the quality is just not there on this monitor. In all reality, there are some circumstances that I could say that this would be a decent monitor. However, if you are picky on colors and contrast and clarity, steer clear of this guy and go higher, because it is not gonna, it's not gonna hit. And the brightness on this, nowhere near bright enough for me. I think it's a 200 nit capability or 200 candle, you know, depending on how you want to call it, right? That's where this one's sitting. My Dell, I think that I have currently that I own, is a 350 max. So it is where I want to be. So I'm going up, getting brighter. And I have a couple of 32-inch Dell monitors. P-series, actually the newer version of what my 27-inch is in 32. And I'm hoping that that's going to fill the need of what I'm looking for. So that is the 32-inch R59 series Samsung curved monitors. Not a fan. It's just not what I'm looking for. So it's hard to really do a video and show you all the little nuances between it. And of course, I'll probably have a video of it showing sitting next to my iMac, but it's just not what I want it to be. It really isn't. It failed me in my expectations. So that is it. That's the 32-inch R series monitor from Samsung. I'd steer clear. Like I said, I would just bypass this guy. It's just not what it needs to be. So thanks for watching to the end of this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm sure, or at least I hope, we'll catch you here for a future video review right here on techgooch. We'll see you soon.